Hi everyone.
Hey guys, how's everybody?
Hopefully you can see us and hear us. Hi Danny. Thanks for joining my stream again.
Oh, look, there's Richard.
Hi Richard. Uh,
Hey guys,
so
I'm glad you're here. This is Happy Little APIs. You see my guest here to my, I don't know if you're my left or right, so I'm pointing either way. It was the second one. This is Nikki Stone. I'm so excited to have Nikki. Thrilled to have a technical caliber such as she. And
really
today we're
nice
going to be talking about, guess what? Happy Little APIs. That's right. I'm talking over you. What was that, Nikki?
I said that's really nice of you.
I was told I had to say it by Nikki. So no, that's not true. So Nikki, tell us a little about yourself before we get started.
I stream on Twitch pretty regularly, at least once a week. I'm an evangelist here at AWS, and my entire job is to stream on Twitch. If there's something specific that you'd like to see, let me know. Otherwise, I'm so honored to be on Eric's show today. I love his little Happy Little APIs show, and I am excited to code today live for you all and show you what he wants to share with you about API Gateway.
So we'll just have a little moment for Richard. He thought the white dot on my wall was on his screen. So that's, yeah, that happens. Sorry. So we're trying something new today. I'm so excited. We are doing this. I am in my home. I'm coming to you live from the basement in northern Colorado. Very, very excited about that. Thank you, Nikki, for arranging that. I didn't have to drive to an office.
What is that white dot?
We do this a lot. It's just okay. The white dot is a mark on my wall where I accidentally pulled some tape off wrong. So everybody, there's another one down here, as you can see. So
I thought that was on my screen too for a second. I started to look. I'm like, what is that?
All right, so let's get started. We're going to be talking about Happy Little APIs. Specifically today, we're going to be talking about shipping code, shipping changes to your API gateway, and really what that means. And so, again, excited to be doing this. Nikki, let's do this. Should we show the slides?
All right, so we're going to go to your slides.
All right, so while Nikki's doing that, I'm going to explain what we're going to do. Is we've got some things that we're going to show here, and then we're going to talk about how how deployment works, different things like that. So we can jump. We kind of already did the intro, so we could probably jump through that.
I really like that picture though.
That's one of my better pictures. That right there is how I got my wife to marry me.
That picture right there, you just sent her that one, and then
That's
she
the
was
one.
like, "That's it,
Yep.
I'm in."
So, yep. Sorry, ladies, on here I'm taken. There it is, right there. So, all right. So let's jump to the. As you know, this is Nikki and Eric. So let's jump to the next one. I'm talking about deployment. Let's talk about with API Gateway, what is really happening here. Because there could be some confusion in deploying, because what you're looking at when we do infrastructure as code, what you're looking at is you have your application behind your API Gateway, you have your API Gateway, and that is part of your application, but sometimes it's a little separate. We don't do a lot of changes there. So let's see, when we talk about releasing, let's see what's really happening here. We'll jump to the next slide. So best practice, we heavily, here at AWS, we heavily encourage the use of SAM and SAM templates to do that. Now, why do we encourage SAM? Well, when you're building out serverless applications, you want to be able to redeploy other places. You want your infrastructure to be versioned as code. So we do that through SAM, which is an abstract of CloudFormation, which allows us to do that. So when we deploy with SAM, when we deploy our applications with SAM, we're usually deploying or modifying an entire application. So I can actually, as my code inside of the SAM template, I can modify my API gateway, my Lambda function. You guys are all right if I just keep using the same finger over and over? All right, good. So I do my, the API gateway, my Lambda, my sequence manager, whatever, my table. All of it's done through my SAM template. However, let's jump to the next one. Really what you're generally doing with this is you're mostly working with what's behind API Gateway. Now, unless you're a VTL monster who loves to do all his stuff through VTL, you know who you are. Most of the changes we're doing when we deploy, using things like safe deploy with pre-hooks and post-hooks and things like that, most of that is being handled behind API Gateway. We're not usually doing a lot of changes to API Gateway, or it doesn't change as much as our application will, although it does change. So when we're using a SAM template and we make use of, again, these safe deploys that are built into Lambda, those are handled differently than if you're doing it through API gateways. So, Lambda has the idea of, and we're going to talk about it a little bit when we talk about Canary Releases, aliases, alias management, different things like that, pre-hooks and post-hooks. That's all handled at Lambda. But if we want to make changes strictly to API gateway, we'll jump to the next slide. Generally, what we'll use is the console or the CLI. So, can you get the next slide for me, Nick?
Yep.
Got it. All righty. All right. So, when we're making changes to the API gateway, a lot of folks will just go right into the console and make these changes, or they'll make the changes through, again, if we were to go back to SAM, we can through Swagger and OpenAPI, which we've talked about before, we can make changes there. I don't think so. Someone's declaring that
so I turned it off. It was I had a program on my streaming laptop open that was making a beeping noise.
Oh, got it. So because there is no such thing as too much Dr. Pepper, and
there is. However, I got you, Richard. It's gone.
So yeah. So okay. So back to this. So when we deploy to API gateway, a lot of times, and especially when we want to do things like, again, when we're talking about a little bit like Canary or staggered deploys, we do that from the dashboard. So today, what we're going to do is Nikki has so kindly said she would jump on, and she's going to build right before your very eyes with my commentary and comments. She's going to build an application that's going to take advantage of how we do API gateway deploys and what that looks like differently, and then we're going to talk about some things on that. So without further ado, Nikki, I'm gonna drop it over to you, and then I'm gonna answer questions and make people behave. So how does that sound?
I love this slide, so I just wanted to show it for
like that.
Yeah, I'm
that's
a huge fan of the fall
40 years ago. So there it is.
All right, so let's get out of PowerPoint for a sec.
All right.
Okay, so what I did before the stream was I built this little front end app that we could basically hook up with an API. So let me show you what this front end app looks like. So it is running. Come on. All right, so it's just this little, let me go back to the main page. It's just this little app, and it just shows a bunch of notes. And right now, these notes are hard-coded in a JSON object in code back in Visual Studio Code.
Now, did you design that app?
Yeah, it's really terrible.
Design on that?
I mean, let's just start with, I don't have any design expertise. I've been a full stack developer my whole life, but like I've never been good at CSS. The only reason I was ever good at the front end was because JavaScript frameworks came around. So
I thought it was pretty. I'm not gonna lie.
Did you really? Okay.
Yeah, it's a minimalist look. Keeps all the junk out of the way. I liked it.
So these are my notes. It's just a little hard-coded object that I'm pulling in right now, and we're hopefully going to replace that with an actual API. So I mean, it actually kind of works right now. I say kind of because one thing is broken, but we're going to fix it with an API anyways. So yeah, these are my notes. AM even wrote one for me. It was kind of funny, so I left it on there. I had him test it, and then he wrote this, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to leave it. Because it's really funny.
Aww.
Okay, isn't that nice? I thought that was really nice.
I think it's pretty bold to declare that he's your best friend.
Oh, who else is my best friend?
I don't know why, You
want to be my best friend?
What's that? I'm everybody's best friend.
That's true. Ask
Chris. I'm the good cop.
You are the good cop.
Nice.
Okay, so let's head to API Gateway. And we can start a new project, but we're actually going to have to write a Lambda. So what I was going to do is I was just going to like create a project, and then I was going to head to Lambda, and we can write a Lambda. So we're going to write 2 Lambdas for the purpose of this stream. One would be a post, so we're going to be able to add a new note, and then a get, just to get all notes. And then we can kind of see like how deployment works with API Gateway and versioning and all that fun stuff. So let's go ahead and create an API. Wow, there we go. And we can make it regional or edge optimized or private. We'll just keep it regional. And there are no methods on it right now, but we're gonna need a method, or we need a resource rather. And we're gonna call it notes. Wow, can't type. And we definitely want to enable cores.
Yeah.
And then we have no methods on this resource, but we will need a post and a get. But we're not going to be able to finish creation of either of those two until we have a Lambda. So we might as well just start it, but then we could just leave it for a sec. So it's going to make us hook up a Lambda, which we don't have yet. So let's go to Lambda and write one.
Nice. Now I will tell you, if she added cores on there. If you ever struggle with cores, especially with API Gateway, and we've said it 100 times, cores is your friend, but it's not your friend.
No,
it's a friend you have to have.
Friend.
Yeah. I think it's in episodes 3 and 4 we talk about cores and how not to just do the allow origin. So how you can do that, but in our in our examples we did allow origin. So, but yeah, I encourage you to watch. I believe it's 3 or 4 with Bob Kenny where we talk about cores and how you deal with that on API Gateway.
When I have trouble with cores, I just like re-enable it in my project. I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but it always works for me. Re-enable?
Yeah,
like I just go back.
Turn it off, turn it on.
Go to the top, and I just like enable cores again, or I go to the specific resource, and I just do it 1,000 times, and then it works. It's a method. It's good. It's probably not the best practice. So
not a tried and tested way, but it does work. Yeah.
All right, so we need the AWS SDK, and luckily for me, it's already installed on Lambda. I just need to require it. And then we're going to need the DynamoDB client. So let's go ahead and create that. DynamoDB, we want the document client. I think that's how you do it. We should probably pull up the docs just to be sure, but I'm pretty sure that's how it's done. We're gonna need the docs anyways because we're going to pull the specific call. Where is it? Dynamo. There we go. All right, so there, looks like the B is capitalized. They're not using the DynamoDB document client in that one, but we are going to use the document client because it's a lot easier. But we needed the capital B for sure. All right, so we want to put an item in the table, which is a note, right? So let's go steal. Actually, I could probably write this. Okay, I have a better idea. Since we're using the document client, I think I could do it from memory, actually. So
you're crazy.
I know, well, it's fine.
No, I mean, that's cool. What I meant was cool.
What you meant was cool. Okay, so I actually did create a Dynamo table for this because that always takes a hot second and I don't want to have anybody wait. It's called Notes. There's nothing in it. It's completely empty. And the key is the title. I didn't feel like we needed to mess with IDs, so we just make a different title for every note. Just for the purposes of this demo. Obviously, you wouldn't probably do that in a real life situation. Okay, so the table name is notes. So the event is going to come in and it is going to contain an object with a JSON object with a title, an author. So let me just comment out the object for you guys so you guys can see it. I'll just write a little comment. So the object is going to have a title in it with whatever the title is of the note. And then the object has an author, the author of the note, and then the actual note. So this is what the object looks like. Just drawing it out for you so you can visualize it while I write some code. All right, so we have to pull out these things from the event. So we can do author. And then we have to create a data object to send to Dynamo. And it kind of looks like this, except for the item is just going to be, we don't need to say, because we're using the document client, we don't need to say the types of the things inside the object. So like here, they are typing the key, and then for the value, they're actually saying that this is a string and then this is the value. We actually can just send in the keys and the values if they match.
So the document client will marshal and unmarshal for you and handle all that. And it's your friend. It's right. A better friend than cores, I promise you that.
It is a better friend. So like we can go like this actually. we can just send in the title, the author, and the note. We don't need this, and the table name was our constant at the top. All right, let's see if I can do this from memory. Wish me luck. Okay, so we need a try catch. And then we're gonna call dynamo dot put, is that lowercase? Yeah, okay, it's camel case, I thought so. Put item, we pass in the params, and then promise. We need to set it equal to something or we're not gonna actually get anything back. And it's erroring because I'm missing a parens. Wow, I'm a cool kid. What else? Oh, obviously I'm getting to the catch. Okay, you can complain.
Yeah, for the client, it's just put. It's not put item.
It's just put. Thank you.
Yeah.
You got my back. I was trying to do it from memory and I just couldn't.
No, I hear you, dude. I hear you. Yeah.
All right, so we don't actually need this response. We would need this if we had selected proxy. Well, we're actually going to uncheck proxy. We're not going to use proxy. We're going to return this guy. Yeah, okay. That might work. And I say might because I did live code that and a lot of it was from my brain, so we'll see if that works. Okay, so we're going to test this just by passing in an object, and we might as well copy my little object that I wrote you guys. Obviously uncommented.
Right on.
Oh, and I have to put all of that in quotes.
Yeah, you do.
Fabulous.
Isan. Too bad we can't use YAML here, right?
Okay, bingo. Test event. Provided that this actually works, then we'll go to
Get some
API
crazy
gateway.
spaces in there. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You're good.
It was good.
Yep.
Cross your fingers.
I can't type if I do that.
That's a good point. Okay, sorry, don't cross your fingers. Actually, I think that worked. I think it
Yeah,
had the
it did.
object.
Nice.
There we go. Okay, so let's go back to API Gateway because now we have a working post Lambda. And let's go to our post and hook it up to, what did we call that thing? Notes post. I remember I said we're going to not use Lambda proxy integration, and we're just going to click save. Boom. Okay, so the cool thing about API Gateway that I like to use is this little test feature. Do you ever use this, Eric?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so
Yeah, I break lots of APIs, Nikki.
Yeah, you all the time?
Yeah. That is my friend.
I break them too. Okay, so we have to pass in the same object to test it here, so we can be like API Gateway note to delineate that this is coming from API Gateway. Richard is the coolest. Why not?
Oh.
That's for Richard. And the
Hey,
author
just so you know,
is-
he just suggested we use VTL for testing templates, so I'm not sure I would put that.
Ooh, I'm gonna delete that.
Yeah.
We'll give it
Yeah.
to Danny. Let's give it to Danny.
Richard was the coolest.
You're the author, Eric.
Thank you. I'm good with that.
Okay, let's see what happens. We got a 200.
Yeah.
Looks like it
Look at that.
worked. And now we have 2 notes in our table.
Victory.
Okay, but here's the thing, is that we can't actually use this until we deploy this API. So we can't actually hook it up to our front end until we deploy it. What do you want to do, Eric? Do you want me to do another one right now and then deploy it, or do you want me to deploy it now and actually see this work in the front end?
I'd say let's go ahead and deploy it. It's up to you how you want to run it, but let's go ahead and deploy it and show off our handiwork.
Okay.
There's some good work here.
Prod. Okay.
So in a little bit, while she's doing this, we're going to talk about stages and when to and when not to use them and what are best practices. So stages are fun. They can be your friend, but they can get a little confusing. So we're going to talk through that.
Okay, so this is our URL now to actually hit this endpoint. But if you remember, we have a resource, we have to do /notes at the end of it. So let's go to our code. And so we're in the add note component. And if you remember correctly on my little app, it's just a form. When I click new note, it's just this form, and it has the same 3 properties: title, author, and note. So I actually wired it up to add a note, and it just basically all it did was push the note into the array that the hard-coded array that I was keeping track of. But we don't need this code anymore.
Less code. Less code's always better.
And this code we'll need at the end if we get this working. So we're going to write a fetch on this URL. And remember, we have to do /notes. And let's do, it's a post. I believe we made it a post. Wow. The data body.
Another API right there.
So we got a stringify. I already created this little note for us right here. This is our little object. Whoops. And then we need a header. So we need to just pass the content type of application JSON, because API Gateway gets real mad if you don't. And then we'll do .then. And we know that it's like an empty object that's coming back, so we can just, we can console log it. And we can also just push back to the main page. But the main page actually is not going to be updated to be pulling from our Dynamo table yet, so we might as well just leave it like this. And then just go back to Dynamo and see if it worked. All right, ready? This is where it gets scary, because we could run into CORS issues, Eric.
Oh, yeah.
And then we would have to enable CORS again and redeploy, my favorite thing to do. Okay, so help me out here, Eric. What do you want the title to be?
I've not seen the error yet. I'm seeing the notes is defined, but never. I'm just seeing the warning.
There's no error yet. I'm just saying this is where it could get scary.
Oh, what do you want to enter?
Yeah, we could get an error from here, but we also could not. It's up in the air.
Yeah, we could. Sorry, I hate to say this. Your audio is breaking up a little to me, so when I keep going, what? It's because I'm having a hard time hearing you. But they say it's not breaking up on the stream, so that's good. Oh, so it may just be something with me.
I moved my mic up.
Okay, yeah, that works. That works. Sorry. So ask your question one more time, and I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay. So I was saying this is where it could get scary for us, because we could run into a CORS issue, but we haven't done anything yet. And then I was going to ask you for your help with titling a note.
Okay, so we'll title the note, Chris Munns is the bad cop.
Oh, that's actually true.
Yeah.
Eric.
And yeah, Eric Johnson, that's right. But please don't fire me.
Sounds about right.
Oh,
hey,
okay.
Look at that. It's a CORS error.
All right, so we got to add the header in the return in the Lambda. Yeah. So because are you doing integration, or are you doing a proxy?
I did integration.
Okay, so you can add those in the header. If you go to your integration, in your method request, let me look at. I'm sorry, your integration request.
I kind of just want to re-enable CORS and then deploy it again and see.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
This is my little technique that always seems to work for me. I don't know that actually works for everyone else, but.
But yeah. So yeah, so what it does is it throws some flags in there, but it doesn't always handle everything. That's why it gets kind of funky.
Nope, still erroring.
Yep. All right, so go to the console. I can help you through this.
Cool.
Yep. So no, I'm sorry. Go back to your errors on your JavaScript. So let's see. Okay, you need all right. So let me look at your error in your console and read the actual error.
I gotta get it again. One sec.
No worries.
That actually worked.
That actually worked. What's up?
So that was my little thing going into play.
So just for future, and this isn't for Nick, if you do restart that and it doesn't set all the ones, and sometimes it can, the setting CORS is not a perfect answer to everything. What you're looking at is you can add those headers. First of all, you have to add the header in the integration response. And then, I'm sorry, go to the console one more time, the main console. Because I have to look at it to remember the names. The API Gateway. and then but yeah, you'll add them, and then you add in the integration, and then in the integration response is where you add the response that you want to happen. So those headers can be added when you're doing an integration in API Gateway. Those headers can be added. Those headers can be added, and then the value of those headers can be set either from API Gateway itself. You can hard code something, or you can do it logically from the response from your Lambda on the backside. So here it just put a blanket response that took care of it. So there it is. I like hearing that.
Super.
All right, I'm done with that.
All right, I actually think we should add the translate API so we can go into the other cool part of what we're going to show today.
So I can say, I love Dr. Pepper in any language.
Yeah, so we're going to build, so, I mean, we were going to build a Git, but in the interest of time, I'd rather get to the cool part. So we'll add a resource called translate.
And why, I'm going to talk for a second while you're building this, just to kind of cover at the top. Obviously we're talking about ship it today. So you notice when we ran that, all she's doing when we have to push this out is deploy. She's dropping down saying deploy API, and then she's choosing a stage. And you can have multiple stage. But something to notice here is when she's doing that, it's pushing the whole thing all the time. So when we're talking about ship it, there's a couple of ways we can do that, and we'll get into that in a second. But so by doing that way, it's an instant change. So you want to make sure your code works at that point to test locally. But there is a way to do it where you can test it on a small number. And we'll cover that in a little bit while she's building this out. So I'll turn it back over to you and tell us what you're building.
Okay, so I added a resource. Whoops, sorry. Let me go back to API Gateway. That is currently blocked for me. I added a resource. Oh, it went under notes. Oops, that was not supposed to happen. Let's delete that, actually.
Yeah, I'm always on the wrong thing when I add stuff. It's really irritating.
Okay, I wanted to add a resource to the root.
There you go.
There we go. There we go. And then I added a method of post. So we're going to post a note, and then we're going to hit a Lambda that hits translate to translate it to another language and then send back the result. That's the goal. Cool. So we have to go write that Lambda, similar to the way that we wrote the other one.
All right.
And let's see if my skills are better this time or worse.
There's been comments on the use of var versus const.
Okay.
I told them we're wild and unpredictable.
It's not the end of the world. Like, if you want me to use const,
That's right.
Fine. This is a demo. Like, this is not like live production code that's just going to go.
I would ignore them. Yeah, I was just calling them out and telling them to leave you alone.
I mean, if they want to comment, they can comment. I'm pretty sure it's just translate. We're going to pull up those docs again because we're going to need to hit translate. It is just translate.
So if you've never seen these docs, these are the AWS SDK docs. They are your friend. They tell how everything should be constructed. I live on these documentation, and I've been developing serverless forever. I just don't have these memorized, so I live on this.
It's pretty awesome.
Yep.
Okay, so again, we're going to get an event, and the event is going to have an object with a note in it. So we need to pull out the note part of the object. I guess I'll just do a constant. No, I'll do a let. How about that? Okay, so that should be, remember it's an object and it's just gonna have a note in it. That's all we're gonna send because we're just gonna translate the note. And then we don't need any of this stuff. Let's get rid of it. We're gonna do a try again. And we need to set up the params here for the translate call, which is this.
All you need is source language code, which you can set to auto.
Yes, and that's really cool. Let's talk about auto for a second.
So
if you set that to auto, if you set that to auto, it actually will use comprehend to auto-detect what language it's coming in.
Yeah, but that affects your permissions. So what happens if you set that to auto, in your permissions, you have to make sure that Lambda can call not only translate, but also comprehend, because it has to have permissions to do both.
Okay, so what language do we want to convert this to, Eric? Here's your options.
Man, there's a lot of them.
Can you speak any of these languages?
I took 2 years of German in high school, but all I can say is, oh no, the bike is dirty. And they tell me that that's actually not correct how I say it. So it's supposed to be, oh yeah, das radisch schmutzig, but every German I know says, that doesn't mean what you think it means. So
those 2 years didn't pay off? Not
a bit. I did graduate.
Okay, so what language do you want to do it in German?
Yeah, let's do German.
All right.
Oh, hey. Oh, so Lily Hazel apparently is German or speaks German. Am I close?
Did he get it? I actually want to know if he got it. Not really.
No. Richard, you can stay. Lily has to go. So
sounds about right.
Oh, there we go. Let's see your yeah, boy, I wasn't even close to that.
Right. Why does that parentheses go away every time?
Okay.
I hear a child.
Yeah. So this streaming from home has its ups and downs.
I mean, this child could be largely entertaining, so I think this is an up.
She is, I will tell you that.
This is an up.
As a 6-year-old girl.
Okay, so I think that actually possibly could work. I guess we'll find out. All I'm doing is I'm using the translate client that I established up here to call translate text, which is the name of the call. And then I'm passing in the params and calling .promise on it and returning it.
There you go.
TBD, guys.
We'll see it.
Wow. Okay, so we're only going to have one value in here, and it's going to be a note, and we're going to say translate this correctly to German. German test event. Why not? Here we go. Let's see what happens.
Nice.
Bam. Oh, look, there it is.
What does that say? Das richtig in Deutsche.
Can you read that? Did he read that?
I have no idea what it means. Oh, it means translate this correctly into German. That's what it means.
That was cool. Anybody want to see it in another language? Okay, so it works.
Polish. There was a request for Polish.
Polish. What's the Polish?
Would be PL.
Okay. All right, one more time in Polish.
Oh, Arabic too. Okay.
Let's do it.
Oh, Polish. Look at that. Yeah, no, I'm not going to try that one.
I can read Hebrew. I can read Hebrew, so I did it, and I can do it in Hebrew.
Yeah. There was a request for Arabic.
Arabic, you got it. AR.
It's AR, yeah.
You got it, guys. You saw how easy this code was to write, so you guys could create the same Lambda at home. There it is in Arabic. Should we keep it in Arabic? Because that kind of looks cool.
Yeah, that does look cool, but I couldn't even begin to tell you how to pronounce that. So
yeah, no.
What we need to do is run it through Poly, which we won't do in this, but I do have a demo where I translate that and then I push it to Poly using the right voice, and it's very cool.
Super cool. So did you guys also notice that we sent in auto detect the source language, and it actually detected it as English correctly? I thought that's really cool feature of translate.
Now, I lived 7 years in Texas, and things like dang Skippy, it doesn't really know what to do with. So I've tried it. It doesn't work.
I'm going to guess that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah. There needs to be a Texas language culture.
All right. So we are now going back to hook up our method that we created under our translate resource with our Lambda function that we just tested that we know works. And then we have to do the same thing. We're going to use API Gateway to test it to make sure it still works now that we've wired it up here. Sometimes funky errors can happen here, so
So while you're doing this, we've got a question on here that says, can we have different input, like the output from German as input event?
Yes.
I'm not sure what you're asking there, but yeah, we could actually hit the translate endpoint, get back the language we want, and then use that to do something else. And if you're asking, can we use German as an input into translate? Absolutely. It doesn't have to be a base of English. It can be a base of any of the supported languages, and it'll transfer out to another one. So.
Absolutely. And remember, you can also just say auto and send in German, and it should be able to detect that it's German.
Yep. Hey, look, your code worked. Nice.
It did work. So I was going to ask you, so we're going to deploy this again to my
Yeah, but we want to be careful.
We do want to be careful.
This is risky.
So we're going to say deploy.
I would stagger this deploy.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So here, let's talk about what she's going to show us here. And actually, can we slip back to the PowerPoint for a minute?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So this is what I was talking about earlier. And this is what we refer to as canary deploys. And you may have heard the term, and I'm just going to say this because I'm proud of it, but when we're doing deployments, and I'll get to Canary in a second, when we're doing deployments, like I said before, we can do it all at one time. And that's what I do because my code is 100%, but not everybody should do that. And so
Your code is 100%.
Is what I would tell everybody else is when you're deploying it with API Gateway, you have the ability to deploy new configuration, and that's kind of what we'll call API Gateway, and just say, hey, I only want a small percentage of my traffic to hit this. And then I'm going to wrap metrics around that, and then I'm going to watch it. And if it fails, then I'm going to roll it back. If it's successful, then I'm going to roll it forward. So let me show you how, I'm going to show you kind of diagrammically. There's a word for it.
And we have to do this with my code because let me just say it's not 100%, as you clearly saw with my vars.
Not everybody is there, but you know.
10x dev. Oh my God, he brought back the 10x dev. I'm not a 10x dev, so but Eric
I'm
is.
not either.
No, Eric is a 10x dev.
I'm a 2x at best. So can we go to the next slide? So if you look at this, this is how a Canary release works. What you're able to do is you can set up, and you'll notice I've got here API Gateway. API Gateway will handle the Canary release for the API configuration. Now, you remember back where I was explaining where there's different places where we're deploying. So for the API configuration, API Gateway manages the Canary release. And how it does it is you can set up, and we're going to see this happen in just a minute, you can set up so a very small percentage of it will go to a Canary release. So when you tell it to do this, it'll set up its own stage called Canary or something else. It's kind of handled automatically. And then it'll put whatever amount of traffic you want to it. And then you watch the cloud, the CloudWatch metrics. Once you like it, then what we'll do is we'll promote the Canary code. So what that actually does is it takes the configuration that was in a Canary stage, it moves it to production, and then puts all traffic back to production. Okay, so that allows you to test your code when you're putting it out. And very honestly, you know, while I'd like to say I'm a 100% developer, I'm like a 7% developer. I really am careful when I push things out because I want to make sure that I'm not breaking things. Or if I do, I want to reduce the blast radius. So I'm only breaking it for a very minimal amount of folks. So that's kind of the idea behind a Canary release. And if you want to pop through and walk them through how that works.
Totally. Apparently, real developers also don't use PowerPoint, so just a heads up for you.
I had nothing funny at the moment, but I'm working on it.
Okay. I figured you would have a funny response.
Who said that? Was that Boyd?
There was a couple people. Yeah.
Remember, some of you are meeting me face to face next week, and
I don't want to be you. Yeah. Also, that was really funny. Someone said 10x devs don't teach each other, says it's a waste of time. And that's development time. So we're clearly not 10x developers. Because
that's right. Teaching. And never have admitted to it.
Nope.
Oh, here it is. They make their own in PowerPoint in React. Whatevs.
I like to use that one like the slide creator, what is it called? It's not PowerPoint. It's like you can create your slides using like JavaScript and HTML.
Paper and pencil.
No, it's really cool. I'm not really good at PowerPoint. It's back to the not really good at front end thing. Your slides are really pretty, might I add. Like very pretty.
I just hand draw it. All right, so Canary Release. All right, so we created the stage.
So what do we want to, how much percentage of our deployment?
Let's do a 10% because we feel that we can do 10%.
Okay. So now when we go back to our Notes API, if we were to hit deployment, it is going to go to that, which we want to deploy now because remember, translate isn't in any current deployment. See how it says Canary enabled?
Yeah.
And then it gives you a little warning. You're deploying this API only to the Canary. To deploy to the entire stage, please use promote. Okay. Done.
So there you go. So now her code is only hitting, if we were to repeatedly do it, it's only hitting 10%, or only 10% of the traffic is being driven here. That's a little tough to show because of caching and hoping we fall in the 10%. But you get the idea of this.
I don't know if it's gonna work, but we could try it.
Yeah, let's give it a shot.
Okay, so I'm in the note component, which if you want to know where I am in my app, I am on the note page, and then there's like this translate note button. The translate note function is like pretty wired up with the HTML. All we have to do is hit the endpoint here because I set that all up for us before. And remember, our resource was translate.
You might have to redo your cores too now that you've added a new resource.
You're right.
Which will involve another deploy. So you might have to go ahead and promote or roll back and then do cores and then push. What?
Oh, that's a good point. Okay. Let me finish this. Let me get these headers out of my head. And then I'll go back and do that. So this is going to be.
So Stormmine, I'm going to answer a question while you're walking through this. So when we talk about code pipelines, you can use SAM deploy. I beg to differ with Richard Boyd, and he and I will have a stern chat next week. But so no, it's preference, but you can use what SAM deploy or what SAM would do. And actually, he's right. Don't use deploy. You would use SAM package in a pipeline. And what it would do is once you're done, you do SAM build and SAM package, and that would get everything ready and produce your artifacts. But when it comes time to deploy, you're going to want to use CloudFormation, and that's built right in. So you can tell when you're using code pipeline as your orchestrator, you can tell it, all right, here's the artifacts from my build command. So maybe under code build, I would do SAM package, and I would pass that new CloudFormation to CloudFormation, and then it would build it out for you. And that would allow you to deploy. And that would deploy your application and, of course, any changes inside of API Gateway. However, you can't do a Canary release for API Gateway within there. You can, however, do Canary on all the infrastructure behind it, Lambda and everything like that. That's weighted aliases that you can do, and you can do that with SAM. So hopefully that answers your question. But actually, Richard, you are right, and I apologize. SAM deploy in a pipeline is not the way to go. Just SAM package, and then you'll use CloudFormation to deploy it.
Okay, so Eric, I deleted the Canary, and then I added cores. You want
to excellent. Okay.
Deploy?
So now we'll redo the Canary.
Okay.
And you don't actually have to delete the Canary next time, but you can if you promote it. Or well, I guess you do actually. The way she had to do it, she had to delete it.
Yeah, I had to roll it back basically.
Okay.
All right, so then I go back to my resources, and I can deploy it now. And it's going to go to the Canary. All right, and then this front end is actually wired up.
Nice.
I'm scared. Yeah, okay. So
there
we go. Well, it's sent.
What's your console saying? Got some cores issues. Do a refresh on this. Kind of, really theoretically that shouldn't matter, but okay. So, okay. So it's saying by response to pre-flight. Oh, you have a pre-flight here. No access control. So that's in your pre-flight.
There's options on here though.
Yeah. So what does your method response say?
200.
Okay, 200. So open that up, expand that out.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now your headers, look at there. So you got access control header, access control allow method. So all the headers are there.
Yep.
Okay. What's the error again? I'm sorry. It is saying access control or header is present on request resource. I'm sorry, I have to restart. Doesn't pass access control. So no access control allow origin header is present on request resource. Okay, so
is that because it doesn't think the resource exists? Because I've seen like API gateway behave with CORS errors when like a resource doesn't exist or you're calling the incorrect resource.
Okay. Yeah. So, and that's a really good point. Sometimes it's a CORS error when API gateway doesn't have another error sometimes. So do this. So can you look at the network?
I wonder if it's the Canary. Oh, it's the Canary. Look.
What's that?
Do you see how it just translated it to Arabic?
Oh, it did. Look at there.
It's the Canary. So because we set it to 10 and 90% of requests are going to the API where translate does not exist.
And it didn't exist.
And 10% go to the one where it does. So then we can actually, this is cool because with the Canary, we can actually see if the code is working.
Yeah, good point. That was a really good point. So it went to CORS because that didn't exist. So, all right, we have a question here. I'm going to assume it's because its blast radius can be wide as there is no check done on change set.
So like if we were to promote the Canary now, it would work on every try is my bet.
Should, yeah.
Do you want to try that?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, so what we've said is okay. We like it. It's working. And that was for Richard. Okay. And then so what she's doing here is update. So it's moving the new code from the Canary to the production, and then it's going to and stage variables if you were to override any stage variables, and then it's going to set the Canary percentage to 0.
Yep. Ready?
All right. Let's go for it. All right.
Let's just refresh for good measure.
Yeah.
Why did that work? Oh.
There it is.
It just takes a second.
And you know what? And definitely, we could go through several steps to get rid of the CORS, but time-wise, I don't think we can today. But that's on episodes 3 and 4, we deal with these. And we actually walk through some of those. And if you have CORS, questions, feel free with specific to API Gateway. If you're just like random CORS questions, I don't know.
Eric, there's no more CORS errors. It just takes a second from after you hit deploy to register.
You might have had some cached responses. Yep.
So if you hit it, if you refresh now and then you hit it, there's no CORS error, but it still works.
Nice. All right.
So the cool thing is that all of this code that I wrote in the front end, I actually hooked it up through Amplify Console. So if I check it into my GitHub, it will deploy to a link in Amplify. So you can actually see it live if I check it in. And you guys also can have the code. It's just in a GitHub.
Nice.
So the link is here. But I haven't checked it.
You're just begging for trouble. You know that, right?
What?
You're begging for trouble, right? Can you post that in the Twitch?
Yeah, I will. Yeah. Let me just, let me check this in.
All right. So while that's building, I want to talk about stages a little bit. So what she's doing, she's got this in Amplify Console. She's pushing the changes. She's doing it from the CLI, which I love. I'm a CLI person too.
Yeah.
So can we take a moment while that's building? Can we go back to the PowerPoint?
Totally. The
Alrighty.
GitHub is, it's just, here, I'll post it in the
They're
chat.
just provisioned it. So, all right. So let's jump ahead a second. I want to talk about stages because you did see in there where we had stages, and we can go to the next slide here. Y'all did notice my shirt, right? One more slide. All right. So when we look at this, we're talking about stages, and it's what do I do with these? We get a lot of questions like, hey, should I use stages for environments? Should I use stages? How do I use stages? Well, let's jump to the next slide and look at what stages are and what they can do. So the idea behind stages is you're able to use the same API gateway endpoint, except for it just changes the last. You can have a prod, you can have a beta, you can have a dev. Or you can have like a V1 or V2, something like that. And this is what we see a lot. And you can, by using stage variables, you can actually dynamically choose the alias in the background. So Nikki, can we go to the next slide?
Totally.
So how this would work, and this works with the integrations. If you have an integration with the Lambda on the backside, you could dynamically select the alias that you want to point it to. And then in Lambda, that alias points to the version of the code. So what we see are some folks who say, look, our prod is pointed at 0.3. Our beta is newer because we're testing new code at 0.6. And then we have our bleeding edge dev, which is on, usually it would be the latest or version 9. And really, honestly, what we suggest is, unless you have to do this, this probably isn't the best practice. Let's jump to the next slide. A better way to do environments is this. If you can do different accounts for environments. And what this gives you is it takes away having to manage the stages and having a lot of times we get into managing parameters, things like that. And so what I have here is I have my same application in 3 different accounts. I have a dev account, and I say accounts because I might have 10, 12, 25 developers, right? And then I've got a beta, and maybe I'll have a beta and a gamma and an alpha and a whatever. And then I've got prod. And a couple of wins on this. First of all, security. So I don't have to give everybody access and hope they're trustworthy all into the same account. Instead, this reduces the blast radius of security. I can say, use a single AWS or production account. Use a single beta account. And different folks have authority to get into those just based on roles right there. You can put an organization on top of that to help manage that in a better way, and then all your developers. The other thing you get, and it's why I included AWS Secrets Manager, you could also use the SSM parameter store, is that you can isolate variables to the accounts. So secrets are an account level thing where I can say, so when I tell my application to call this parameter from the secret store, it can be different in each account I get. And so this is really a best practice, and you use the same template to deploy to the different accounts as needed. You can parameterize the template so that you can change that based on region or different things like that if you need to. But a lot of power here, a lot of security, and it removes some of the headache of trying to manage the stages. However, and let's jump to the next slide. Sometimes you have to manage stages, right? So let's say you're building an API and you need to have backwards compatible API. And it's just not escapable. You need a V1, a V2, a V3, and you might be promoting code through those as customers update. But the point is these are all live. They need to be on the same basic endpoint with just a change in the path. So what you're able to do, again, is you're able to use a Lambda alias to point to the alias that you want in Lambdas. I'm sorry, not Lambda alias, a stage variable called Lambda alias. How's it going? And that will tell you which alias I should point to, and in an integration you can check that and you can add that. So really, staging, much like aliases and versions in Lambda, my general advice is those are great when we do automated, like when we're doing safe deploys in Lambda, or we're doing like you saw with Canary, it uses stages to do that. The automation and it handling it for you is great, but manually having to deal with it, if you don't have to, don't. I mean, sometimes you can't get around it, you need it, and that's why they're there. They're great tools, but if you don't have to, don't. And that's all I got to say on that.
You can also use those stage variables when you do a Canary deployment.
You can. So so if you set stage is a great place to keep variables because it's different on stages, things like that. So you can set a Canary variable, and that'll be different. For, let's say in production you have a string that you need to connect to for a database or something like that. Well, I'm going back in the day here, and you could change that into the Canary, and then when the Canary promotes, those variables will get promoted as well and become the product variables. Cool. I found out I do this a lot. I'm not sure what. Someone coming in can't hear me. That'd be weird.
What?
I said I do this a lot. That's kind of strange. So
I don't know what that means. Hold on.
All right.
Let me move my window so I can see you. Okay, do it again.
There you go. I do this a lot. I have no idea what this means, but it's like a lobster. So, all right. Well, do we have it? So we can jump ahead. I think that's all the code we're going to show. Unless, Nikki, do you want to go back and see the build on that? Yeah, you were going to see the build on that?
Oh, yeah. I deployed it essentially just by checking in, which there was a really cool recent launch where you can actually do pattern matching on your branches. So if you had like a branch called release or production, when you deployed that branch specifically, or when you checked into that branch, it would run a deployment. But obviously I just have like one branch. It's the master branch.
That's sweet though.
Super cool. So now this app should be like deployed. And let's go see if this button works.
There it is.
There it is.
That's awesome.
Pretty cool. So that's just awesome. All I did was just hook up my GitHub repo to the Amplify console and pretty much takes over from there. It's like super easy to set up, but you can see every time you check in, it'll show that it's being provisioned, like you've checked something in.
Yeah, if you're deploying, I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to.
It'll like kick off the pipeline again, basically. Like it'll show you here so you can see it visually. Like that, this will say, oh yeah, I'm provisioning, and then all these won't be check marks. They'll be like question marks, like hasn't got here yet.
If you're deploying a front end by hand, I don't know what to say to you. No, I'm just kidding. Really, honestly, I encourage you to look at Amplify Console. It makes life easy. I'm a big fan
of
harsh. And automation. What's going on?
That was harsh and really funny. I don't know what to say to you.
I know. So if your automation or CI/CD story has somebody's name in it, you're not automated. So get automated. I really encourage you to do that, and Amplify Console makes it so easy to do that. So
yeah, it was literally like 2 seconds of my time. And now we have like a fully fledged functional app, and now that we've built like half of the API, I mean, we still didn't do the get call, but all good. We'll do that later. I will do that later and check it in, but the code is in GitHub, and I posted a link to it in the chat.
All right. So we got a couple of questions here. The first is, how do you do a multi-account code commit hub and spoke model to support the same template to release to multi-accounts? Would you advocate a single account with cross-account roles or code commit in each account? That's a preferential. Obviously, a lot of that's based on where's your repo. Is it external where you're having to do some permission things? And so either one would work. You can have a CI/CD in each one. And really, honestly, that might make life easier for you.
Yeah, I would.
The other thing is really, really heavily, I encourage you to implement SAR if you have it. That's the serverless application repo that you can actually go and pull things in as you need to. So the other question is, do I see Amplify replacing SAM? I don't, and because I see those as two separate tools, there is some overlap there.
I use them in conjunction a lot.
Amplify uses SAM inside of it, so SAM is a tool that's being utilized there. And so, no, I don't see it replacing that. So
I use them together.
Questions. And Nikki, if you have a different take on that, I'd rather you not say, but no, I'm sorry. Seriously, go ahead. If you have something else you want to add on that, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say I use them together. Like I will use Amplify and build up the front end, and then sometimes I will use like a part of a SAM template for a piece of the back end.
for the testing, you can do local testing with SAM in Amplify. So you can get into local testing, things like that. So you can use SAM in your build containers to do that. So a lot of interrelations, but no, I don't see it being replaced.
I would agree. I like to use them together.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, we hit it right on the mark. Man.
That was pro.
Yeah, this is awesome. Guys, if you have any more questions, we're both on Twitter. I encourage you to hit us up. I can be reached also at ericdj@amazon.com. I take emails from everybody, glad to help. Or I say I don't know a lot, but it's followed with, but I can get the answer. So if I don't know the answer, I'll get you the answer. So.
Same for
Nikki,
me.
you're awesome. I really appreciate you jumping in. This was fun.
It was a blast. That was really, really fun. Thanks for being my API gateway expert. That was really cool. I wish I could just have you next to me when I'm coding an API gateway on a regular. I was
channeling my inner Bob Kenny and Alan Tan.
That was amazing. I liked it. I was all about it. Let's see browsing. You just discovered this channel. We have so much good content for you. Hopefully you'll stick around because there's always some good stuff happening on the AWS channel.
So I will tell you in this episode, there's been delay to pushing to YouTube. So I will actually update some things. This one will come soon as well. But I'll be pushing out a series link to show because this is our 8th episode. And we've gone through a lot of Amazon API Gateway. And yes, there's 8 episodes worth. And we have another, let me do the math, 7 episodes left. So we got a lot to cover. No, I'm sorry, 5 episodes left. That was bad math. Wow. So guys, thank you so much. And I will send out a series link. If you'll follow EDJ Geek on Twitter, I'll be sending it out there. And looking forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. Can you put one more time up on our slideshow? We've got the next episode. They can tell them what's going on, what we'll be talking about.
Yes.
My guest host will be Sang Kong. Pull it up here real quick. Just the PowerPoint. Yeah, there you go. Was it in the trash already?
No, it wasn't in the trash. Whoa.
I got, you know what? I was sensitive. That was me. So, yeah. Episode 9, looking inward with private Amazon API gateways. How do I protect my inner content? What do I do when my content's in a VPC? How do I get access to it? How do I keep others from getting access to it? Things like that. So back on kind of the security theme, I'm talking about private Amazon API gateways.
I think you guys should totally tweet Eric.
Trash Talk started like 3 weeks ago. So.
You should totally tweet Eric if there's 2 more episodes you'd actually want to see that he didn't put in his original series.
Yeah, absolutely. Hit me up. If there's something not being covered, hit me up and we'll talk about it. Until then, these are our Twitter handles, and we'll see you later.
Eric, where did you get this slide template? I want this with the trees.
I made it.
Like this. What?
I made it.
Oh my God, you have design skills.
I don't, but I found
you do.
I started as a designer. Turns out if you show me a picture, I'm good at it. If you give me a white canvas, it's a white canvas 2 hours later. So, yeah.
Interesting. So if I give you something already, you can clean it up for me and make it prettier?
I can, yes.
I'm going to take advantage of that.
I'm all about the pretty.
Totally taking advantage of that.
Oh, nice.
Is that 3D? Your tree is 3D.
It looks like it. It's not.
No, it is. It looks like it's coming out of the thing.
That's just bad placement.
I'm so fooled, Eric. I'm so fooled.
I do what I can. Yeah. When you blow that up full, it's there it is. So.
Okay.
All right, guys. I think we're outie.
Bye, everyone. Hopefully, you'll tune into the next episode of Happy Little APIs because Eric's show is awesome.
Having fun. And
I'll see you later.
And Nikki's making it happen for. We're going to be in Nikki's studio next week, by the way, next episode, 2 weeks.
Yep.
Which I'm very excited about.
It's going to be awesome.
Bye, all.
Bye, everyone.